my mermaids. I wanted to share some of the conference takeaways that I took away from the Smarter Artist conference. I have to say, guys, it was fantastic. And in complete and utter honesty, I almost didn't get on the plane in Hamburg. Because, you know, flying my motorcycle off a cliff in Mongolia, no problem. Getting on an airplane and then going to meet people and actually talk about my work and craft and tell people I'm finally starting to take myself seriously, terrifying. That, and I hate the idea of networking. And I thought, okay, what's worse? Not going, not talking to people and hiding in a closet, or going and talking to people and, oh my God, I am actually putting myself out there and I just look like a moron. The fantastic thing about it is know your why, which is something they've been really pushing the whole entire time. But in relation to this too, if you know not just your why, but their why, you also know if this is a community that you fit into or not. And I have to say, everyone was the same, a bunch of introverts terrified and excited to talk to each other. But the best thing about it was that they're all just so open and welcoming that it quickly did not become like a networking conference like I was so terrified it was going to be, but rather a gathering of like-minded individuals who wanted to talk and discuss their careers and their lives. And this made such a difference for me, and I will definitely be going back next year, because the idea of a networking conference makes me want to puke, because it also feels really fake to me, even though I know people need to network. But I think we really put that wrong spin on it. It's not networking, it's meeting people who are doing the same thing and sharing ideas. And as soon as I got in there and realized that this is exactly what was going on at this summit, I relaxed and began to have a really and truly fantastic time. It was worth every penny. And so yeah, I wrote down a couple of things I wanted to share, because otherwise, you know me, I'm just going to digress and blab. But there's, I think, 5 things that I really want to talk about. And so the first one is knowing your why. And this was something that kind of trickled into a whole bunch of different things, from the psychological right on up to the actual businessing and marketing. Because, I mean, so yeah, okay. I'm going to let this keep running. I'm going to pretend this is live, even though I'm going to upload it, because otherwise I'm just going to be doing this over and over again. But the big thing was, so for instance, we had a big conversation about email marketing. And the guys had an apprentice program, but they also had some people come up and talk about the apprentice program. And like they said, this is not them pushing or promoting the apprentice program, because it's never being offered again. But they want to talk to people who basically paid very good money to have access to guys who've done it before, and then have a very intense 8 months. And there are people all along their trips, their self-writing, publishing, indie journey. And the big thing that one person was saying was that this whole email push, and personally I kind of feel the same way, that email marketing is absolutely essential, but there's no longer any quick and dirty ways to get it done fast. People are getting really bored of signing up for emails, and yeah, they just grab the book and run. So your best way to get emails is actually still through the organic way of the beginning and the end of your free material. And that's not what we want to hear. Of course, we want the quick and dirty way, but there is no quick and dirty way. It's basically what they're saying, is that even when there's a spike of something, you need to know your why. Why are you doing this? And one of the cool things was Chris Fox talked, and I love this man, and I think he's absolutely fantastic, and he was so cool and so open, and afterwards you can go up to him and talk to him as much as you want. He was just really a cool guy, and as cool as you hoped he'd be after reading his books. But the really awesome thing was, and he talked about a couple of things, and the first thing was that definitely stress, quality over quantity, because so many people were really stressed out. Like he was saying, and the same with the guys, that just cut people off your email list who are not engaging. They're costing you, and they're costing you money, not just to be on your email list, but they're also costing you in 2 big ways. And this is one thing that he really said, was that the first off, so they're costing you in the sense that they're not engaged, or sometimes maybe it's like your mom who's on your email list. Mom, I love you. I'm a mom myself. We all love each other. But sometimes what happens is with the algorithm, we all know this, that basically you send your email to someone that you don't expect to really be a long-term fan, but you really want that book sale. We're wanting for numbers. We really want that person on our email list, and we really want that book sale. We're really pushing for the numbers. And the problem with these number games, when they're quantity over quality, is that they hurt you in 2 ways. The first off is that you're paying for someone on your mailing list who is not interested, and not interested at best, and you're just paying the numbers to carry them. But at worst, maybe there's someone who is like your mom, who is actually very, very interested. They love you. They want you to succeed, but they do not read in your genre. And this is going to hurt you in 2 ways. This also hurts when you do like a BookBub blurb or something like that. BookBub blast. Thank you. And then, you know, you have all these numbers coming, but if you don't have yourself in the right category, it's going to hurt you in 2 ways. And the first way is you're going to get the bad reviews. And most people are kind of thinking along the lines that these bad reviews are okay because it's worth the price of the numbers to have a bad review. And actually what both Chris and the Sterling and Stone guys were arguing is that it's not. It's really not, because it's not just hurting you in a bad review, but you got the number game. More importantly is that these people are clicking. They're screwing up your also bots. Because if I go to buy, I don't know, I really like to read Brandon Sanderson and fantasy fiction, and I go to read, click, and I go and look down, I see also bought, and it's all romance. I'm like, this is not my thing. And if they like romance and they like this guy, then I don't like him, because I know I don't like these books. And then what Amazon is basically seeing is that someone who should be interested in the category that you're saying you're interested in, so you say, okay, this book is for fantasy fiction readers. You blast it out to your whole entire list, including your mom, your aunt, and their dog. They all buy it. They all read they don't read fantasy. They all read romance and pure romance. And then the person who reads pure fantasy looks at this and goes, nope. But Amazon knows who I am. They know that I love fantasy books and that I've got a big list of fantasy books in my also bots. So they're the also bots you want, because when I look at that and then I say, nope, if they like it, I definitely won't, and I click away, Amazon goes, okay, once coincidence happens a whole lot, well, then this book isn't really interesting to fantasy readers anymore, and they cut you off. There you go, guys. So that's not what you want. So even though the number game sounds really great, you have a great big push, and you're like, yes. And actually, David Galkin actually did a talk, and what he said was that if you can't have a pure or something that actually applies to your genre in your BookBub, either as a secondary category, or even sometimes they'll turn you down for your first category and say you can have it for your, try this one instead for your primary. Unless it actually fits, as tempting as it is, don't take it, because you'll have your big spike the first day. Your second day, you'll start getting people angry or not looking at it at all, because they start going, this isn't what I think it is, I don't want this. And then your numbers start going, and then Amazon starts going, not just, okay, there's a couple people who don't like this, fine, whatever, everyone gets bad reviews. This is a case of not only are they getting bad reviews from the people who bought it, but the people who don't buy it are just as important as the people who do. So that's a huge takeaway. Keep that in mind always. Quantity over quality for all your numbers. And that really comes back to knowing your why. Why are you doing this? Who are you doing it for? And then really focus them like that. And the psychological part, also what took me for that, was another one, the apprentice was up there talking. And she was saying how at first she was really just caught up in this whole marketing blast, the stress, the everything else, get 4 books out a year and really just go for it, make sure you're on genre point, which are all things that are very, very important. If you want to be a high-selling genre author, you need to have the tropes. You need to have a very traditional storyline. You get to play within the box, but you need to be in that box. And if you want to be making decent money, especially fast. But it turns out that this girl doesn't want to be making decent money fast. She wants to write really good stories that she can publish and slowly find a market for. And like Sean said, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know your why. Know why you're doing it. And for me, too, this really cracked it open for me, because I was like, wait, sure, you're right. This is so true, because for me, I'm more like in this middle zone. Like, I don't want to write pure whatever it is, the story from my heart. I do want to write a story from my heart that people read. So I'm kind of like the Chris Fox guy that's like, write to market, but don't write something you're not interested in. That's just gonna break your soul. But I am interested in, okay, I've got these 10 stories in my head. Which of these 10 stories is most likely to sell based on the market at the moment? So that's kind of more like in the middle. But like I said to myself too, like sometimes I really beat myself up, especially as a mother. Not having the time, and then, you set up this time and it's supposed to be protected. And I've learned that if I do not leave the apartment, or in this case now the boat, this time is not going to happen. And I think that's fine. It was a huge lesson, but sometimes I still kind of try to creep in the time where I'm like, okay, I'm going to write this. And, but I can't get off the boat, so I'm going to do it with the kids, and I get cranky with the kids. It's just not good. And then I realized, you know what, Sherry, the whole reason why you started this whole thing was to have the freedom to be able to say when you work and when you don't work. And yeah, there's definitely a whole other topic about that, whereas it's either a hobby or a job. But I also want to be able to tell myself, it's a job, but the reason why you chose this job is also because, okay, if you get 1 book out a year, you're very, very happy. You don't have to have your 4 books out a year. And I have to try to sometimes remember that, and listening to that, and kind of remembering my why and why I was in this in the first place. And sometimes you need to step back, because you're talking to other authors, you get so excited, and you're like, yes, I gotta do this too, I gotta do this too. And it's like, wait, no, jump off the hamster wheel. Yes, it's working for them. Maybe it works for you. Maybe it doesn't, but what's the emotional and physical cost, and are you willing to pay it? And if you are, that's fine. Go do it. But I think a lot of us sometimes forget to step back and go, okay, why am I really doing this, and what is it that I'm looking for? Anyway, so that was the big thing there. And yeah, I think that was actually kind of everything that I hit, but maybe not so well. I'm kind of like, I'm new at these videos, guys. But anyway, to summarize, and I will do a little bullet point on the video as well, like down below. But big thing is the knowing your why with Apprentice. I know I'm really horrible at any videos. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's a small community. It's okay. You're helping me grow. I'll help you guys grow too. But the big thing was, okay, so knowing your why with the Apprentice. Why are you doing this? Stop looking at other people. I mean, talk to them, find out what's working for them, but decide if it's going to work for you. Because even in the terms of, you know, we're talking about like the initial part of a book and how much content involves there, how much not, like author's notes and things like that. But it also really depends. Do you need an author's note? If you're writing historical fiction, actually, yes, you do. But if you're not writing historical fiction, no one even reads it or wants it, for the most part. But it depends on your genre, so really know that. And just because, you know, so-and-so wrote this fantastic book and everyone's talking about how much they love their author's note, you really want to double check, okay, is she in my genre, or he in my genre? And if not, then it probably isn't what I should do. And we're really guilty for that. And we're in a brand new place, and I understand it, but we are really guilty for, instead of kind of putting our head down and focusing, we're looking around going, oh, he's doing it better, he's doing it better. And instead of an actual, like, you know, aim and firing, you're just doing shot. And yeah, it is much better to kind of calm down, think about it. Even the Hope Pansing thing, you know, they're talking about that as well, saying as much as it hurts sometimes to actually sit down and plot, and sometimes it feels like you're losing time because you're not actually writing anything, you're doing all this thinking out, that the writing will go faster afterwards. But again, it's all a process, so don't beat yourself up too much. Yeah, and the other thing was then the emails. That was a huge thing for me. But definitely emails and Amazon and any kind of promotion, you really want to make sure that you are targeted. And if that means not telling your friends and family that you did a book, maybe never, or at least not for the first, say, 3 months when they do that big, like your first 30-day and your 60-day drop-offs. Don't tell them, because you don't want those numbers messing up your Amazon page. It's not worth it in the end. That yes, yay, you know, you got a couple extra book sales, but those book sales are going to hurt you, not just in bad reviews or potentially bad reviews if you target the wrong person. I hope your parents aren't giving you bad reviews, but you know, if your mom's not giving you a good review, guys, oh man, talk with her. But don't let her, actually, the best thing is though, no mom, the best review is a no review, because you don't want her also bots or his also bots. If it's your dad, your family, your friends, it doesn't matter who. But anyway, it's really important to try to keep things pretty clear, because it is machine based, and these machines aren't looking at, okay, this person is this person, this person. They're looking at all of a sudden, not just this book is getting bad reviews, but even before the reviews start coming in, that the book is not being bought by the people it's being targeted at, and that's an issue. Okay, and finally, mindset. And for me, I think only 10% was new. But that actually went to me to say, you know what, I need to get on it. I need to just start executing now. And that for me was worth the money and gold. Anyway, it's been almost 13 minutes. I'm going to stop right now. If you have any questions, pop them down below. I'm more than happy to answer. And guys, invest in yourself. If nothing else, that's my takeaway. Just do it. Just do it. You know, like David Goggins said, fear is a sign that you're about to do something really cool. All right, bye.